Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dear Talk Show. If you can go ahead and make sure you hit the like button on your way coming in, go ahead and hit that free like button. I'm going to try to go through this as quick as possible, but please look at the screen. There is a trigger warning. This may trigger some people that have dealt with this and with friends, family, or just coworkers or whatever. So there's a trigger warning. We will be discussing an 11-year-old that recently gave birth to her biological father's baby. And I thought this story really needed to be heard and told because I'm keeping this child in my hearts and prayers, and I hope you guys do the same. But let me get through this housekeeping. This is the Copyright Act of 1976 under Section 107 for fair use purposes, news reporting, teaching, research, and you guys know my slogan is always that jazz. So what I want to do is go ahead and I want to cite my source. This is the name of the YouTube channel is Law and Crime. I'm going to let you guys listen to just a little bit of it, but I will put the link in the description box of this video so you can listen to it in its entirety. So guys, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, write your comments. I would like to hear what you have to say and get you guys' take on it. What would you do if you knew something was going on? And I just have a lot of unanswered questions. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I want you guys to, let's see here, go ahead and listen to what they have to say. Let me go up and bring it up on the screen. And yeah, that should be, let me go ahead and do this, make it big. So here you go.
This is a case so shocking. The district attorney working this case said she was horror-stricken when she first learned about it. And you yourself might need to brace yourself for the details in this one, because these two people you see here are facing charges after an 11-year-old gave birth inside their home. DNA results allegedly just proved that the girl's stepfather is the baby's father. How this case could be prosecuted moving forward, as so many people try to understand how this could happen. We're on the case, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. There are no words that will be able to express just how sad this story is that we're following out of Oklahoma. It's certainly shocking, and it's not easy to hear. I'll warn you about that. It's not easy to talk about either. This story first came to light on August 16th inside this home in Muskogee, Oklahoma, which is about an hour's drive away from Tulsa. According to KWTW, who spoke to the district attorney prosecuting this case, an 11-year-old girl gave birth to a full-term baby in this house on that day. Now, here are the...
Before he goes any further, and I'm giving my commentary as I go, and I have to break it up to make it my own. But you're hearing, let me let them come up on the screen. Hold on.
Mug shots.
Okay, there's their mug shots. This is the biological parent. I'm not going to even say he's the father or the dad. And this is her mammy. That's what I'm going to call her, mammy. You heard them say this was a full-term baby. Full term. So keep that in your mind.
The girl's mom and stepdad. Their names are Dustin and Sherry Walker. The DA told the TV station at first these two said they were also shocked by what happened because they claimed they had no idea that this young...
Now let me clear this up as well, because they're saying on Law and Crime stepdad, but as I got further along, and I'll let you guys read one of the newspapers, they're stating that it's her biological father. So I'm just going to say allegedly, either he's the stepdad or biological father. It doesn't matter which one he is, because he, in all intents and purposes, should be the male in her life that's protecting her.
Young 11-year-old girl was pregnant. The district attorney pushed back on that, saying the 11-year-old was, quote, petite, so it would be pretty obvious.
Want to lose 15 to 20%?
Let me go ahead. Okay, I don't want to go through all of that because I don't want to go through the commercials and all that stuff. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna stop sharing, and I'm gonna put the link in the bio because you'll get more out of this next source. I want to go ahead and share my screen, and this is out of Muskogee. Let me bring it up. This is Fox 23 News. I'm citing my source, fox23news.com. I want you guys to hear what they have to say. So let me bring it up and let me make it a little bit. Let's see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Nope, I don't think it's going to allow me to. But anywho, let's go ahead and get into it. Fox 23 News.
Attention, this article has been edited to protect the identity of the victim in the story. Update. August 25, 2025. The Muskogee Police Department said a man is now charged with child sexual abuse after an 11-year-old girl in his care gave birth. Police said on August 16th around 5:45 p.m., officers responded to a local hospital in reference to an 11-year-old girl that had given birth at her home in Muskogee around an hour earlier. Investigators were called to the hospital and child neglect charges were filed against 34-year-old Dustin and 33-year-old Cherie Walker. After receiving DNA test results from the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, the charges were amended. The results showed Dustin Walker was the father of the child. Dustin Walker is now charged with sexual abuse of a child under 12 and Cherie Walker is charged with enabling child sexual abuse. Both Dustin and Cherie Walker are being held at the Muskogee County Jail. Fox 23 will continue to provide updates as information becomes available. Muskogee, Oklahoma. A Muskogee couple is charged with child neglect after an 11-year-old girl in their care gave birth at home on Saturday. Dustin and Cherie Walker are charged with child neglect, accused of failing to provide supervision and proper medical care to the child. According to court documents, the 11-year-old was 36 weeks pregnant and gave birth to a full-term child inside a home near South Main Street and West Southside Boulevard on Saturday, August 16th. Investigators said the 11-year-old had received no prenatal care and hadn't been to the doctor in over a year, court documents read. Both Dustin and Cherie said they did not know the child was pregnant.
Right. Yeah. Who y'all think y'all playing with? Who y'all think supposed to believe that? For me, it's just and I want to call her mom, but she was the one that delivered the child. She was the one that delivered the child. So I want you guys to hear some more. I'm going to cite once again Law and Crime on YouTube. Go over, check them out. I want you guys to hear a little bit more from them, just to give a little bit more context. So let me go back to them, and I wanted to make sure that commercial was over. So let me go ahead and...
A girl that small would be pregnant for a full 9 months leading up to the birth of this child. They say happened on August 16th of this year. Now, we found old Facebook pages for this couple. Dustin is 34 years old. Cherie is 33. Many of the pictures show them holding young children. A neighbor to the couple told KJRH TV that 6 children in total, including that 11-year-old girl, lived in this home along with several dogs and cats. They say this was a very disturbing situation playing out in this home even before this young girl gave birth to a child. The neighbor said that this couple did not have running water in their house for the last 2, maybe 3 years. Now, at first, the Walkers were charged with 6 counts of neglect, and it appears that is a charge of neglect for each child living inside this home. But then there was a major development this week on top of what was already a major story. The paternity test came back on that baby that the 11-year-old gave birth to, and the district attorney told KWTW that the results show that the girl's stepdad, Dustin Walker, is that baby's father.
Okay, what I'm trying to understand is I don't know if it's protocol for if a child that young, comes up pregnant, allegedly, if it's protocol for them to test the male that's in the house or males. So, is that how they found out? Or did the young girl tell them, and they tested him? But my other question is even though they were living an hour out of a major city, pretty much rural, a small town, Are they receiving for that many children? It doesn't seem like, I don't know. This is allegedly. I don't know if either one of them works because they don't have running water. So does that mean that her mom was home all the time? The girl hasn't been in school. The child hasn't been in school for over a year. So was she homeschooled? But even with homeschool, you have to turn in work. So was the school not alarmed? And also, that's one question. The second one, if they were on any type of state benefits, Medicaid, food stamps, anything like that. And most definitely, if you're on Medicaid, Medicaid offices, they're always making sure that the kids have a wellness check and different things of that nature. So those are the questions that I'm hoping that will eventually come out in the trial, because certain things just don't add up. You know, the other thing I want to say, because I want to get this all out, my thing is, if you're a parent and you have a daughter and she's begun her menstruation, if she's had a baby at 11, so that means she either started at 10 years old or 9. And how long was he doing this to her? You know, because if she wouldn't have had the baby, the mom, you know, delivered the baby. Allegedly, that's what's being said. And so luckily they had the wherewithal to call paramedics, because that could have went a totally different way. Because, you know, there are cases out there where the person does not call the paramedics or get help. So if she wouldn't have been pregnant, how long has he been, you know, doing what he's doing? And then also, you know, all the moms out there, even dads, if you have a daughter that has started her, you know, menstruation, you're buying the products for her. Well, some, because I'm gonna tell you, I came across a few women that they were not, the dad had to tell the daughters what to do, because the mom unfortunately wasn't using any of those things, was, you know, using good old tissue. Yeah. I want to be too graphic. So, but if it was my daughter, I would be like, okay, you don't need any pads. I'm almost a whole 9 months, and there are no pads being used or anything like that. But let me go ahead and get back to law and crime. Shouting out my source, Law and Crime on YouTube.
Faces a charge of sexual abuse of a child under the age of 12. Sherry is also facing an additional charge of enabling sexual abuse. Now, it doesn't appear that Sherry has a criminal history. We did find 2 cases in Oklahoma court records involving Dustin Walker. One of them is from 2020. He was charged with firing a gun inside his home. That case.
Okay, so I want to stop there, and that brings me on to the case with them. Let me go ahead and share my screen, because, you know, I did a little bit of research. So let me go ahead and bring that up. Give me one moment. Okay. Let me drop this so you guys can see. This one is, let me stroll it up so you guys can see who I'm talking about. You can see her name right here where it says Sherry Walker, Sherry Dunn. Okay. They filed, you know, on August the 19th, which was just recently around the corner, medical expenses, all that stuff. But I want to get down to the meat and potatoes of the last, because there was a lot done on the 19th. But right here, when you get to the 25th, First Amendment information, then this is all on the 25th, First Amendment felony warrant, notice of intent to use DNA evidence, motion to revoke bond. So I guess they had a bond, but it's revoked. And then on the 26th, notice of assignment as court appointed attorney. And then also on the 26th, Janet Houston, defendant pro se, jail, state request to revoke previous bond, court grants, defendant is held without bond sounding set for Judge Ari. Y'all know I'm bad with names, but they're supposed to be she and him, Dustin, are going to be back in court on the September the 3rd at 10 a.m. And she cannot have any contact with the victim, and she has a court-appointed attorney. So they put in motions for a discovery on the 27th. An original warrant was returned on the 27th. So, and not just with her, the same thing with him. I'm gonna go ahead and bring his up. It's the same exact thing with him as well. Let me go ahead and bring him up. I just wanted to do my due diligence. I got some stuff from Law and Crime, but I wanted to bring it up. So if you see right here, let me drop this down. Walker, Dustin Joel. So we're going to stroll down, get to where it says right here, child abuse, multiple disciplinary accounts, and let's just bring this down. Warrant was issued on August the 19th. It was completed on the 20th. And so and then they're on the docket for 9-3 with him. I was intended to give you guys, because both of them have two different attorneys, because that really wouldn't be ethical for them to have the same attorney. His attorney is Benjamin, what is that, Hager. Look, if I had to win money on pronouncing names, I probably would not make it. So anywho, the same thing with him. Bond was revoked. He has to be in court at 9 a.m. So he's going to go before her. And then it says on here on the 20th of August of this year, his bond was set at $100,000. But on the 26th, the state attorney, they wanted it to be withheld. So the judge granted that, and bond was revoked. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing that. And now I want you guys to listen to one more. Hold on. I want you guys to listen to one more recording. And I'm going to make it big for you guys can see it. Well, hopefully you can see it. Okay, let me cite my source. This is Scallywags and Vagabond.com. Scallywag and Vagabond.com. If you'd like to go over and check them out. It's a Scallywag and Vagabond, VAGA bond.com. Let me go ahead.
I went to Dustin Walker's house. The assistant district attorney said the 11-year-old lived there with him, her stepfather, and biological mother, Cherie.
Thank you.
Her next-door neighbor shouted to me nobody was home, so I talked to her instead.
This is getting to me, and I've talked. I said, they're not doing nothing. They're not helping them kids, and I've called.
While I spoke with Cheryl Atkins, I noticed this lady filming across the street, but I continued on with the interview.
They have no running water for the last 2 or 3 years. They have dogs in the house. They have cats in the house. 6 children.
When we got to the home, there was some trash in the yard, a broken window, and a bungee cord holding the door locked.
The oldest is 11, and everybody else is younger.
Once Atkins and I finished our conversation, I approached the woman who's filming.
Hi there.
I found out her name was Michelle, and the 11-year-old's grandmother.
We didn't know this was happening. None of us.
How do you think your granddaughter got pregnant?
She keeps telling us that it was the little 12-year-old boy that I used to keep, I babysit. She keeps telling everybody that it was him. They got curious. That's all I know.
So I don't know if you guys could hear, but that's the grandmother of the 11-year-old. And my whole thing, she's saying that a granddaughter allegedly told her that it was a 12-year-old that they, were watching or whatever. I don't know. But my thing is, I feel like grandma failed her, because grandma is right across the street, because when the news anchor was talking with the neighbor, the African American woman, you can clearly see across the street that the grandmother was over there. So you right across the street. So for almost 9 months, did you not see your granddaughter? Did you not see a difference in her? I feel like not only did the grandmother, the mother, and the stepfather or biological father, whatever, which one he is, I feel like they just let her down. And this woman right here, the African American woman, who, and if you heard when the lady first sat down with her, she said, "I've called and I've called and I've called." So she's been trying to get some help over there. So she didn't have anything to do with it, but she knew something wasn't right. So she was calling, trying to alert whoever she called. She didn't say who, but she kept saying, "I've called and I called and I called." So I don't know what this defense attorney, whatever they're gonna be able to say, but I don't know how y'all gonna pull this in a nice little bow. But let the grandmother of the 11-year-old finish speaking with the reporter.
Spoke to Muskoge's Assistant District Attorney, Janet Hudson.
It's our understanding the child had not seen a doctor in over 1 year.
They keep saying that we knew about my granddaughter's pregnancy, and we did not.
First got word of this case, what was your initial reaction? I was horror stricken to find out that it's an 11-year-old little girl who's given birth and that she had no medical care and she had no one to be with her.
This is getting to me. And I've talked, I said, they're not doing nothing. They're not helping them kids. And I've called about the dogs, called about the children.
The Assistant District Attorney tells me a paternity test has been conducted and she expects the results within 2 weeks.
Okay, well, the results, and I want to go ahead because I was looking as this was being played, and I didn't shout out, but I wanted to shout out. Let me see here. I want to shout out Oklahoma News, Channel 2 News, because even though I cited my source, I got it from Scallywag and Vagabond.com. They got this footage from Oklahoma Channel 2 News. So I want to shout out them. You have to shout out your sources. So the African American woman, she's right across from them. If she could see something wasn't right, Grandma, I'm not buying what you selling. I'm really not buying what you selling. Once again, this is for fair use. It was for fair use. I want to bring you up, Sherry. Sherry Walker, the AKA supposed to be mama. Don't look like you worked. I'm saying this is allegedly. I'm putting 2 and 2 together because if you worked, 2 years, no running water. I guess y'all, I'm not sure how y'all was paying bills, but it had to happen in that house. So that house don't look that big. So where was he schmoozing this child? Were you that gullible and that gone in the brain that you didn't hear, you didn't see nothing? I mean, I know it's a lot of kids in there and dogs and all that stuff, but I don't, and I can sound like I don't know if the young lady, I'm not sure how they're going to do that because she is underage when it comes to the child and everything. This is just a hot mess. This is ridiculous. I don't even understand. Like, you have 6 children, well, 5, and then you have like the African American woman said, I'm gonna just say black. The black woman said the 11-year-old is the oldest one. So this neighbor has said, you heard her at the end say she called about the dog, she called about the children. So whoever she called, they need to be in trouble as well, because so they can't say that they didn't know, or this their first time hearing about it. I don't know if it's CPS or whoever the lady called, but she did what she could do. More than the mama, more than the grandma, and the grandma's like, they trying to say that we knew. Lady, lady, you live right across the street. Look how nosy you were when the reporter was over at the house and when she was sitting down with the black lady. You were that nosy. So you telling me you don't know what's going on? I don't know if all those kids were your grands or just 11-year-old. But you trying to tell me you don't know that something over there in the milk ain't clean with that house, but your nosy butt, you can see the reporter standing there talking. Yeah, miss me with that. You need to be ashamed of yourself. And I hope they don't return the 11-year-old to you. You don't need to have, no, they don't need to return her, because if you, man, so she had to know something, because she's saying that her granddaughter told her that it was a 12-year-old or whatever. Okay, you can miss me with that, because now you know, oh boy, DNA came back that he's the daddy. He's the daddy. This right here. Let me put him up here. This right here. So all y'all doing is laying in the house having kids, and then you decide that you want to go and schmooze your stepdaughter or daughter. I don't know which one it is, but I'm either one. It don't matter. And I'm hoping that this child have enough strength in her, and I'm praying for her, that she tells really what's going on, because I don't believe he just started messing with her. I really don't. This is the lowest of the low. You're a scum bucket. You are a scum bucket. You are a scum bucket as well. You, from what they said, she's the one that delivered the baby. She's the one that delivered her grandbaby, her daughter's baby. This child is in there with no medical help, no running water, no nothing, and she's delivering a baby around 5 other kids and dogs, unsanitary, no prenatal vitamins, no nothing. I don't care how petite she is, and I don't care what their defense attorneys say about her size and all of this stuff. She would have had some type of, even if it was a little round. I've seen women who are very petite and they don't have a big belly, but it had like a little bump or something. And I'm going to go back to what I said. She probably nasty, but even a nasty woman knows that their child is not having, especially she's the oldest one. So it's not like you have other girls that you have to worry about if they're on their menstruation. This right here is pissing me off, and I'm going to keep my feet, not feet, because my foot on her neck and on his neck. So my feet on their necks. This is ridiculous. You failed your daughter. Grandma, you failed your granddaughter. You got your nosy butt standing across the street. It's not like grandma live across town. She's directly across the street. Baby, it's a hot place for people like you and people like you. This don't make no sense. Guys, sound off on this video. Please tell me, do you see what I see, or if you see something I don't see? But this is so egregious to the point that, oh my goodness. And she went full term with this child. Listen to the bullet points. No maternity medication, no doctor's visits, no running water for 2 years. For 2 years. And we all know, if we have a baby and let's say if she's not clean or whatever, any type of whatever, the doctors administer drugs for when the baby comes, the baby doesn't get, blind or something, if whatever. Like, how was she keeping herself clean? This is too much. And if I find out that these jokers was getting public assistance, food stamps, and Medicaid, everybody dropped the ball. Okay, if she was in school, she's 11, so she's been in school, but this last year she wasn't in school. That right there lets me know that allegedly mom must have knew she was pregnant. Why keep her out of school for a year? Maybe because she's pregnant? Huh? And even if you're in homeschool, you still have to present your paperwork to if you're in a traditional homeschool. So there's been records of her being in school. So I'm just trying to find out what type of was she in homeschool or they just took her out of school? I don't know. I will be watching this case because I'm gonna keep my eyes on these dirty. I'm not even calling them parents. They're not caretakers. Like, you are so disgusting. You got her pumped up with 5 kids in there. I don't know if the 11-year-old is yours or not, but you started messing with this baby. I just wish you get your just desserts while you in there. I hope they go ahead and impregnate you while you in lockup. And y'all can read between the lines of what I'm talking about. But if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. Sound off. Tell me what you think. Also, like this video and share this video. Guys, let me know. I am so livid with this right now. Until next time, peace and soul. Mwah.